Hey guys, my name's Alex Barham, and this is going to be just an initial rundown of my thoughts from a single run in the Zet 5. I'm doing this totally because it was something that was requested from me multiple times, and specifically what was requested by you guys was a comparison to the 9R. So, I don't like doing these, but here it is. First thing we did was throw down a 9R and a 5 on the ground and take a walk around. Immediately you can see that there are significant differences, and yes, they're the same length, they're geared toward the same weight paddler, they have a similar amount of rocker, they're both planing hulls. Put that aside, they're very different boats, you know, and really that translated into them paddling quite differently too. At no point did I feel like the 5 had the kind of I-beam racing through the water with really hard edges that the 9R is so distinctive for. It really did feel like a smaller version of the Cross, which I paddled a few weeks ago and really quite liked. I'll drop a link to that video here. Putting aside the fact that usually I paddle boats where I'm in the bottom half or 2/3 of the weight range, definitely not the upper third of the weight range. I really found that the boat was very good at jumping on top of things, quite predictable, and even though sometimes I wasn't quite sure what it was going to do, I definitely see none of that coming through in the GoPro footage. It seems very sure-footed, so it must have mostly been in my head. And overall, I thought it was really solid. The feeling of paddling the 5 was definitely unto itself, even inside of this category of boats. Unsurprisingly, I found it closest to its big brother, the Cross, but absolutely on the water, the comparison to the 9R fell away. Even 9R to 9R2 fell away. It's its own beast. And I really liked the fact that of the racing boats, it seems to be the one that is geared for the smallest and least aggressive paddler. I think that if you're looking for a planing hull creeker without all of the higher end things expected of you, this is right there. In terms of a boat that Americans will be more familiar with, it's kind of closest to a Phantom, although again I hate making these comparisons, but you have rails on the back which really dig in and go, you have a semi-displacement up front, and you know the one thing that again defined this boat and similar to the 9R2 was very vertical chine walls on the bow, and these can work great for you, but you have to basically paddle around them because if the water gets a really good push on it, it becomes a point of leverage that can spin you like a top. So I definitely found myself going backwards in one of my first rapids because I just wasn't expecting that. But very quickly, I found this boat to become more and more intuitive, and very soon I was using that to my advantage to punch a hole that usually rockets you left, but instead I made it take me straight. Definitely an interesting boat. It does have the caveat though, much like I discussed in the Cross video, where getting one of these, servicing a warranty, all of those things are just unfortunately a huge issue. We do not have them at Mountainman. I wish we could, but these are boats like other brands that are coming over container by container, and that's part of what you have to live with if you decide to go this route. I know that's kind of a quick hit, and I'm sorry, I'm not really going to spend more time on this. Unfortunately, it's not something that the shop carries or that I'm going to have my usual 3 weeks to a month to paddle before I make a full review for you guys. So I would rather just cut the cord now and leave it where it is. Thanks.